Hello, welcome to my channel. In last session, we briefly talked about GuideMia Orthodontics Plus software OrthoPlus. We used Aligner Bot to perform model processing and automatic treatment planning. Today, let's look into the details. How are we going to start a case? And in the next few sessions, we're going to go step by step and finish the case. Now let's take a look at what we generally are getting from our customers. I have one case opened here. So this is typically what you are getting from a model scan or intraoral scan. The model has not been very well cleaned up, and there could be artifacts, model quality issues around the boundaries, and especially in the interproximal area. Then, for example, let's take a look at another case. We have all kinds of artifacts on the tooth surfaces, interproximal area for both lower jaw and upper jaw. In other software, you would spend hours and hours to perform model cleanup before it can actually be designed. In GuideMia OrthoPlus, we have included an automatic model processing process. We have a so-called all-in-one model fixing, and it's transparent to the users. You can just see the models has been taken care of, and the tooth segmentation are done based on the processed model. Now let's start a case. We start a case by press the load model scan. The model button, we find the files we want to work with. For this case, I'm going to use this data set. Press open. Now we tell the system we have AI and we want to use the AI segmentation. Press yes. From this time on, everything can be automatic as we said earlier. But before we get into actual segmentation, let's see how step by step the system will work. We have so-called liner bot lucky button here, or we call it happy button. You can press this one by one to finish a workflow. In every single step of this workflow, we have additional tools here. That means according to the context, you can do additional things. For example, here, if we want to do manual model processing, we can trim the models, we can smooth the models, we can do touch-up. For example, if you have existing attachments, you can do touch-up to fix the tooth surfaces. That's individual tools, we can always do one by one. And most of the time, we would just let the system automatically handle model fixings, handle quality issues, unless we really did substantial operations like attachment touch-up. Now, before we go into tooth segmentation, we need to identify the occlusal plane, or we call it datum plane in the system. So that's our first important clinical information. We use that for alignment purposes and also for tooth segmentation. What's happening now is the system is actually perform a full automatic AI segmentation. We finish the segmentation already in a very short time. What we want to do is, however, we want to go into the model details, fix all the boundaries, and have a nice, beautiful tooth segmentation. So we are not looking into the segmentation results yet. At this moment, we can say we want to evaluate current occlusion. The system will pop up a color map of the lower jaws and the upper jaw, so we can see where the lower and upper touch each other and how much is the occlusion gap or the collisions. Sometimes the scan files come with the overbite. But let's skip this for the moment. We'll say no. Now we have our initial arch curve. This is purely for the purpose of tooth segmentation. And we have arch plane defined, we can make adjustment. For example, we can rotate the plane a little bit. For the upper jaw and the lower jaw, again, this curve is not clinical arch curve. It's for the segmentation purposes only. As long as it follows the arch, we are good to go. Then, if you want to take a look at what we have done to the tooth segmentation, we can right click here, show other objects. So this right click in the graphics window is always your friend. You right click, you find the tools according to the context, according to the file or the models you select. Now we have internal data here. We call it internal data because typically we wouldn't expect users to deal with it. Let's take a look at this. So this blue model is what we got from AI. That's the AI segmentation results already. If we want to show the lower one, we show the lower one. So we perform automatic AI segmentation already. We generate the arch plane, generate arch curves for you for further processing. But coming back to our initial question about model processing, how are we going to clean up the model and make a solid model that can be manufactured? That's where we care the most for the moment. Now let's continue with this button. If you want to read the instructions, it says after adjust the occlusal plane, which we did. Click the happy button to adjust the edge plane. So in this step, what you can do is, instead of looking at the view this way, sometimes the patient's arch, they are not horizontal like that. They could be like this. So there could be an angle here. So what we want to do is anatomically this plane could be actually like this. So if you look at this horizontal plane, the occlusal plane actually has an angle with references to the occlusal plane. So this can be done according to the patient's intraoral pictures or according to the patient's actually original scan. Then once we are happy with this orientation, we can continue. Now that's the most interesting part we are talking about. We are going to fix all the topology issues, geometry issues of this model, clean up the boundary of this model, close the model, and create a solid upper jaw and lower jaw models for further processing. Everything is included in this one single step in the fixing. Now we tell the system we want to do all-in-one fix. What's happening? Again, we fix the quality issues, we identify all the potential issues, artifacts, we clean up them, we clean the model boundary, and then we are going to generate the models. So there's one step in the middle, that's to identify all the crown boundaries. As we have performed AI-based segmentation, we know where the tooth boundaries are, so we're going to generate a full contour of the crown area so that we can use that as our base for tooth segmentation refinement. At this moment, we are generating that. The model processing and fixing has been done. We will do the aligner boundaries, we call it aligner boundaries. Basically, we generate a contour of all the tooth area, and then we are going to finalize this model boundary and solid model creation. At this moment, we have both lower jaw and upper jaw processed, watertight, solid model, ready for printing, ready for model processing, and ready for clear aligner design. You may want to have a question, can we adjust arch curves? Can we adjust the boundaries like this? Yes. In every single step, you have full control over what you can do and what the system can do. Majority of the time we can make adjustment, but for the efficiency, for productivity, you may not want to deal with every single details like this. You don't have to adjust this model because it won't impact your 3D printing, it won't impact your aligner manufacturing. But if it does, we have all the tools you can do to make adjustment. So this is all we want to do in this session. So we will continue with tooth segmentation in the next. But what we have done so far is we load the model, take a quick look at how the model looks like, and we perform AI segmentation. We generate occlusal plane, we generate arch curves for both lower and upper, and of course we can adjust the arch curves, and then we extract all the crown boundaries, generate the models with nice boundary automatically, and we close the model with solid models. That's what we have done in this demo. In the next step, we are going to perform tooth segmentation.